We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. Um, it is Saturday when you hear this, recording it Friday night. Or no, it'll be Sunday when you hear this, recording it Friday night. We've had a good run of guests. We had Eric on, we had Old Soul on, we had Ed on last night, and now we've got Will in, the Murderer's Row of Rational Boomer podcast guests. So, and Will was anxious to talk just because of some of the fuckery that's currently happening in this country. I mean, some of it's terrifying, some of it's just pathetic, and some of it's hilarious.
It's it's a clown show with it's literally. Have you ever seen that stupid old movie? Was it Murderous Clowns? I forgot the
Yeah,
name of that movie. That's what we have clowns, but they have power, and it's
yeah.
hard to deal with sometimes. Um, and then you have the ridiculous with the drawing of the World Cup groups, which is usually a really cool thing that they do in Austria, in Geneva.
Right.
So they have all the teams in a bowl and they pull them out like they go Group A and they start pulling them out and putting them in the groups along the way. It's a really kind of a cool thing if you're a soccer fan, you know what I'm talking about. But because the chairman of FIFA is a fucking crook like all of them and somehow has this love affair with Trump, they had it in the United States at the Kennedy Center. No, it is not the Trump Kennedy Center.
He's going
Fuck
to try to
him.
do that, though.
Fuck him. Okay. I mean, I'm surprised he left Kennedy on there. I really am. But and so they drew it there, and then the first thing they did is that the president of FIFA, Ignacio, gave Trump a gold trophy and a medal, the FIFA Peace Award. What the fuck? Okay, when
That is
you're a
just
soccer,
pathetic.
it's when you're a soccer fan, you are what's the word? You're what's the word? You're a fanatic to an extent
Right.
because you understand the sport. A lot of people who don't have never played it or know the sport don't understand it. They don't understand why people cheer when there's a pass on the outside line and people get to. They don't get it. Okay, that's fine. But you do. That's why they call it the beautiful game. And the World Cup is the biggest event, literally the biggest event in the world every
Right.
4 years. It's huge. And you let this fucking orange felon stench ruin the beautiful game because FIFA is so corrupt. They'll do anything to get money. And they gave him that false thing. And what I read about is that none of the governors of FIFA knew that was going to happen. None of them knew that he'd been selected. Hell, none of the governors of FIFA knew that such a award existed. This was all the president of FIFA's doing.
It
And
didn't
I'm like,
exist. It
it
didn't exist because when he announced it, he said the first recipient of the FIFA World Cup Peace Prize, the 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump. And it's just so pathetic. I mean, this
it's
thing didn't exist. They created it for him. He comes out there like he's surprised and makes some goofy faces. I mean, if you were going
it's
to try to
ridiculous.
do something to make yourself look good, you'd be embarrassed by how this turned out because he looked stupid and he
But
got mocked on social media.
but see, with Trump, it's like everyone likes attention. Okay, let's face it. Okay, we could say we do have ourselves, you, me, all the other creators, do have some kind of um, uh, idea why we do it for the good of everyone. But let's face it, we have egos. We like doing it. We like
Sure.
views. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not even. Some people get paid for this. Great. I mean,
Well,
because when you
sometimes
look at
sometimes it's yeah, sometimes
yeah,
it's not ego so much as validation. You know,
validation, yeah,
you go out and do something, I go out and do something. You're not sure if people will accept it. You're not sure if it's good. And whether it's my ego or not, the fact that people listen and watch
yeah,
and appreciate it, it makes me feel good that I can actually do something that
mm,
somebody else gives a shit about.
right. But I have never met anyone in their lives. I mean, I've read stories about Carnegie. Rockefeller, those guys, okay, with egos. But they put their money where their mouth was.
Right.
Okay. I mean, the Carnegie was probably one of the worst human beings on the planet. Look him
Yeah.
up, his history. And he did all this to save his soul. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But he put money out. Okay.
Yeah.
Same thing for Rockefeller. He put money out. Okay. At the end of their lives, they became very philanthropic because they were trying to buy their way to heaven. Now, let's talk about that really quickly because we're going to talk about the ridiculous. Do you know that 2 days ago, the Trump PAC sent out letters and there's evangelical churches asking for money to do good deeds in Trump's name to help him get to heaven?
Yeah. Send me money so I can get to heaven. And
So
you know
I
what?
can
There's
get to heaven.
dumb fucks out there that will say, "Oh God, I'll pay to get Donnie in heaven."
I mean, and it's like the email says, I'm not here for a participation trophy. I want to go to heaven. Dude, honestly, I mean, that's just, I can't even begin because Carnegie and Rockefeller were not good men. Okay.
No.
They made a lot of money. Even JP Morgan, all those guys, are the rich barons. But at the end of their lives, they put a lot of money into society through charities. That a lot of them stand to today. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Trump is literally the opposite of that. And he puts his name on everything because he wants people to remember him. He needs it so bad. And this is the next step. He is literally, to rip off from the song, trying to buy himself a stairway to heaven.
Yeah.
Okay. But let me make this clear from the great philosopher Don Henley. There are no hearses with luggage racks. Period. And you ain't going because that chain is long and ponderous, sir. I mean, even Ebenezer Scrooge is going, no, brother, no, that's your problem. But that's the ridiculous we deal with every freaking day.
There's a big, you talked about Carnegie and Rockefeller and Donald Trump in one sentence. And there's a vast difference between Carnegie and Rockefeller with Donald Trump. First of all,
Right.
Carnegie and Rockefeller, for how bad they were, they weren't stupid.
Yes.
Secondly, their ego wasn't cover for deep set insecurity. And
True.
that's the thing is with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is incredibly insecure. This is why he's got to self-aggrandize himself every time he opens his mouth, puts his name on stuff. He knows he isn't worth a shit, and he has to keep pushing it out there to a ridiculous degree to try to convince people. And it's funny, this heaven thing. He's so bought into I can buy my way into anything or find a loophole into anything. I think he really believes if he does certain things, it'll get him to heaven. And unfortunately, that's not true. Carnegie and Rockefeller may not have gotten to heaven, and they were smart. Donald Trump is just a pathetic loser. He's insecure. He knows who he is, and he's trying to convince everybody otherwise. And the more he does his shit, the less it works.
And it won't work. I mean, what's the line from the Bible? It's easier to get a camel through the eye of a needle than a rich man to heaven.
Right.
I mean, and the point with him is that I don't even know what to say half the time when this stuff comes up because his followers just go along with it. I mean, case in point, and we're kind of, because I want to talk about this in the context of all this craziness. Case in point, Costco is suing the Trump administration because they've been covering the tariffs. And they're saying,
Right.
no, give us our money. This is wrong.
Right.
We've been covering them because we've been trying to help the consumer, but no, you owe us because what you did is illegal. And what do Trump humpers do? They cancel their Costco memberships because they think they're dissing Trump. They have no concept of what's going on. I'm going to go to Sam's Club and Walmart. Well, fuck, I don't care. Okay. And they think they do something, but they do it because you picked on their grand leader. Mark Kelly and all those guys just saying the obvious. You don't have to take illegal orders, and I know we're going to touch on that in a few minutes. And what did they do? They all the humpers go after him because they dared question Trump. And it's not, there's no cognitive dissonance, there's no breaking down what's going on. It's just that they are devoted for this guy in a way that we have seen in religious cults. Jim Jones, Sun Myung Moon. It's the same behavior. And you see it every day, and it's sad and sickening.
I have a Costco account, and I would gladly pay double that amount for that Costco membership if I didn't have to look at a Trump fluck in Costco.
Yeah,
it would be worth
that'd be
it to me
great.
to spend another $60 so I don't have to see one of those dumb fucks. I saw a guy, it might have been at Costco, and he was sitting having a hot dog. He's an old guy, older than me. He's sitting there eating his hot dog. Under the back of his shirt, it said, "Fuck Trump and fuck you for voting for him."
Nice, good T-shirt.
Nice.
And I did it in the open. But see, also Costco didn't go with that DEI bullshit. They threatened him. Costco said, "Okay." Now Walmart, fine.
Oh, they'll bend over.
They did all that. I mean, whatever. I mean, it's tiresome because the ridiculous stuff that we just talked about just wears on your bones. Because you think, how do people let him get away with this shit? But they do, because he has basically convinced them that he is holy. That's the only thing I could think of. And you're devoted to this guy. And like that's that same argument with Epstein. What happens to Clinton's name on the Epstein files? I don't give a fuck.
Right.
He's a politician. I don't worship him. That's your problem.
I'll be the hangman. I don't give a shit.
I don't. I mean, it's all performative. But the problem with the performative, it leaks into our real life. So let's talk about the economy. The economy is shit, ladies and gentlemen. There's a fact that there are more layoffs right now in the 10 months that Trump has returned to the White House than there were through COVID.
Wow, that's troubling.
Let that sink in. They lost 32,000 jobs last month, private sector jobs. They're going to hide it because they're going to say it's not official, but they lost 32,000 jobs. Okay, they said they were going to get 40. You cannot sugarcoat this bullshit. I mean, I've seen videos. GM's laying off people. FedEx is laying off people. In Nebraska, Tyson is closing an entire beef plant that's going to affect our prices. 1,000 jobs. Bye. People, UPS is going to lay off people in January. Who else? I mean, it is a bloodbath out there. Now, some of it is tariffs, but I think a lot of it is companies trimming to try to make money for their stockholders, and they don't give a fuck. And I mean, like I said, I've gone through that with my company because it makes no reason what they've done. It doesn't, but they do it because fourth quarter. And they're trying to build it up because the stock market artificially is high. I mean, my wife and I checked the 401k, it's making money, and I'm thinking it's because they're coming to fourth quarter, all these cuts and everything. These people don't look at the big picture. They look at the short term, which is profits at the end of the year, which means stocks go up and they make money. But to the regular guys who no longer have a job, good luck finding a job in this job market. Oh, by the way, you know that safety net you had? There's no Medicaid, there's no unemployment, SNAP's reduced, or they're going to take SNAP away because you're in a blue state. Right. This is a disaster waiting to happen. And their reaction is Trump saying that word affordability, because nothing is affordable. Let's be honest. You're basically, even if you have money to operate, you're operating on a smaller margin, and those who don't have money are screwed. What's Trump say? It's all a scam. Affordability is a Democratic scam. But like someone put a video during the election of all his speeches talking about affordability. I want to make things affordable. Affordability is a great word. Now it's a scam because you fucked it up, but don't want to admit it. And they still blame Joe Biden for it because he says that inflation was 20%. No, it wasn't, brother. Inflation had gone down to 3%. And there were infrastructure jobs. There was money into the economy from the government, but you fucked with it because it was Joe Biden's. You want a great case in point? Appalachia. There's a story in The Guardian about Appalachia. Okay. They voted overwhelmingly in all the states, 85% of them voted for Donald Trump. Okay. They're suffering now. You know why? Because SNAP's gone, Medicaid's gone. And what Joe Biden had done, if you remember in the infrastructure bill, is to put alternative energy industries in those areas to replace coal jobs. People had lost their coal jobs because coal was not going to be on the agenda. And there was a lot of training. There was going to be solar cells building, everything. And Trump killed it. Those jobs are gone. Those training's gone. The safety net is gone. But you voted for that because you didn't want a black woman for president. And if I hear one more pundit talking about, well, economic and political, fuck you. They didn't want a black woman for president, and they thought all the things that they lost would come from people of color. They didn't think it was going to happen to them. Now they're fucked, and they want us to feel sorry for them. I do not. Lay in your bed. Sorry, not sorry.
To talk about inflation, because he keeps saying under Joe Biden, inflation was the highest ever.
No.
Let me explain to people how this happened. Inflation when Joe Biden took over was like 8 or 9%. But that wasn't by the doing of Joe Biden. That was the fuck up of COVID that Donald Trump had done. So it was high at 8 or 9% at that point. But from that point to his last day in office, the inflation rate had come down to almost where it should be, to about 3%. Okay. So now Donald Trump has taken over. That inflation rate is now higher than where Joe Biden left it when he left office. So this idea that Joe Biden had high inflation and it was the highest ever, he's been responsible for any increase in inflation. Joe's been responsible for any decrease in inflation.
And they do that because they're always campaigning. They can't govern.
Yeah.
So they fall back in the old tropes. Again, the guy who looks like John Wayne Gacy, I keep forgetting his name.
Tim Hassard or Hassard?
Yeah, Hassard was on Fox News, and they were talking about the job loss, inflation, affordability. This motherfucker gets on there and goes, yeah, we're still trying to fix stuff from the Biden administration. Also, once those no tax on tips kick in and no tax on Social Security, you're going to see everything change. I don't know. That didn't sound like that in my last time I took macroeconomics. That doesn't sound right when no one has a job.
I mean, it's interesting. I was talking to old soul the other day, and she lives in Las Vegas. And I know Las Vegas was really excited. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. And they were excited about getting that. And should that come, that would be interesting in Vegas because nobody's going to Vegas anymore.
Yes.
Nobody's working in Vegas anymore. You got no tax on tips and no tax on overtime because they no jobs. And so, it's fine to give people these breaks on taxes, but if they no longer have jobs or business, what difference does it make?
Yeah, I mean, and tourism is dead because, well, one is really expensive. I was listening to the thing, and you're right. Vegas used to be, you could find cheap places like downtown.
Right.
Cheap. I mean, but now everything has got to be some kind of act. Well, people, A, can't afford it, and B, I don't know, a couple of people trying to get to Vegas get stopped and disappear. German tourists, English tourists. People don't want to come to the United States because the United States is, well, let's be blunt. If you're a foreigner, it's fucking scary here.
Well, like I told old soul, Donald Trump was successful in keeping immigrants from coming out of the country. But in order to do that, he had to turn it into a dangerous shithole. Yeah. Nobody does want to come here. Old
No,
Soul's boyfriend moved to fucking Japan because he's afraid of what might occur here. So nobody wants to come to America. And anybody out there listening in other countries, if you're going to travel to other countries, don't come here. There's no
yeah,
reason to come here.
the Canadians have basically said, "Fuck them,
Yeah.
fuck the United States. We don't even want to trade with you anymore." And Trump got all pissy and everything. No, it's not worth it. Canadian citizens are at risk here. And again, going back to the World Cup, when they come, ICE will be doing shit to their citizens. It's going to be a shit show. Trust me, it's going to be ugly because that $50,000 bounty is up there. And also, ICE agents are the cream of the crop. Yeah, some of them can't fucking read or write. Some of them have criminal activity. One guy going through training, hey, can I get a break because I have a court hearing? Okay. One guy, and I've seen him, you've seen him, is 460 pounds. A fucking ICE agent. Now, I'm going to give you some personal stuff.
467 pounds.
460.
467.
Well, the last time I saw the doc and I sat in the scale, I was 489 pounds. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not doing, what the fuck? And then they're hiring these guys because they want more bodies, but what you get is what we see out in the street. Cruel assholes. In Florida the other day, they stopped a white, redheaded woman, and everyone's watching her scream. This is the difference between Florida and other states. Everyone's watching her scream, I'm a U.S. citizen, and not one person around them said a fucking thing. Fuck you, Florida. You didn't say a fucking thing when that woman was dragged away, and hours later they released her. That was a white woman. Okay? Keep that in your mind. They're in Louisiana now. There is a film. These are guys working on someone's roof. Now, you're a homeowner, I'm a homeowner. You get someone up there, and that's not cheap if you got to get your roof fixed or get it repaired. All right? The guys are working. ICE shows up, gets up there, and points guns at these guys to get them off the roof to get them arrested. Don't know if they're legal or illegal. Doesn't matter. They're brown and they're gone. If I'm the homeowner, I'm going, what the fuck? I mean, it's winter. It's rainy season. I don't want my house. That's who they're going after. In Lincoln Heights in New York, ICE was chased out because they were lying in wait at 6 a.m. to wait for parents to take their kids to the bus or walk them to school so they could arrest the parents in front of the children. This is what we're dealing with. And ICE Barbie, Kristi Noem is up there going, she's worried and she's upset because her ICE agents are getting threats everywhere in their families. Fuck, lady, you're lucky they're not dead. And it's going to happen. Don't give me this bullshit. They're not doing what they were said. They're just picking everyone who's brown. And everyone who voted for Trump, everyone who was now, this is not what we vote for. You fucking did. They have signs that said mass deportation, and he's doing what you want. The Somali community. Yeah, I saw the video of them supporting Trump. It was kind of sick. Okay. Yeah. Shit is coming back to roost. And they are coming for you, and they're not kidding. Now, the reason he's doing it, because there is a controversy, as you know, of Somalis, some ripping off Minnesota for some kind of food plan or help plan. A few of them got involved in it, and it cost them some money. That's why Trump is bringing up that billions of dollars. No, it's a few million. They got the guys. They're going to jail. The problem was that Tim Walz didn't want to step on it because he was worried about the race thing, but it turned out these guys were the worst of the worst. And I don't give a fuck what your race is, okay? But he's using that as an excuse. And, oh, yeah, by the way, those Muslims in Dearborn, Michigan, the Never Kamala guys, how's that working for you? Because ICE is looking for you too. The point is, to all you ICE agents who are Latino and Black, they don't want you. They don't want you, and you're next on the list. This is so fucked up. The Supreme Court is going to hear Trump's executive order about birthright citizenship.
Yeah,
They're
I
going to
can't believe
hear arguments on it. Okay, that's not good because they're basically going to change the Constitution with a constitutional amendment. Trust me, those guys are just dying to do that. Okay.
I wasn't sure they were going to do that, but then when they just upheld this gerrymandering in Texas, I'm thinking to myself, how do you even get away with doing that? Thankfully,
Again, 6-3.
California pretty much wiped out the effectiveness of that thing.
Here's the thing. They said that it's nothing about race. The federal government cannot sue California anymore. Supreme Court just set a precedent. It's done.
Yeah.
It's done. Race, all of it. Pam Bondi's fuck. She cannot bring that to the court because all the court will go, President, Supreme Court says it's fine in Texas. They did the same thing. It's not even based on race. Okay.
Well, couldn't they? Doesn't this open the door for other blue states to just say, "Fuck it, we want to change it"?
Yeah, they probably will. But here's the thing that's fucked up, as we know with the gerrymandering in Texas, they use a lot of areas with a lot of Hispanics. Good luck. They may not get what they want. They may not, because the electorate is getting a little pissy. They're getting a little pissy, and they're not happy. That Tennessee election, I'm not happy with it. I still think that a lot of people are going, that's a good thing. No, it just confirmed that some more people that should have voted before voted, and you still have a majority of assholes in Tennessee being Tennessee voters. And before you all in Tennessee go after me, I'm in Georgia. Let me tell you how you do it, okay? In November, the early November, we had two statewide commissioners races for power. It normally, for 25 years, they've been Republican strongholds. Both Democrats won 2-1. 2-1. It wasn't even fucking close. Roswell, Georgia, is a town in Fulton County, just outside of Atlanta. This is not a small town. It's a good-sized city. It's a suburb. They've had, Ken Edwards was a incumbent Republican mayor, and Mary Rubichaux challenged him. They got into a runoff. That same night that all that Tennessee bullshit happened, Mary Rubichaux wiped the floor with him, 58 to 42%. And a runoff.
Yeah.
She wiped the fucking floor with him. And people say, well, that's a small city. No. That tells you that in Georgia, we're purple. That's why Marjorie Taylor Greene ran, because she sees it. All right. Where I live, it's purple. And Georgians are a little pissed too. And they're starting to protest. Why? Because there's a lot of people from other states that live here. When you do industry and do business, you bring people from other states. And then we look around and go, no, I ain't going to work. Take it from someone from California. Okay. So the difference between Georgia and Tennessee, and this is why I was a little pissy, people are trying to take what happened in Tennessee and apply it to Missouri or other states. You can't do that because each state's unique. You cannot say what happened in Tennessee is going to happen in Missouri. You can't. You have to have examples like what happened in Georgia. You have to work with what you got. It happened in Mississippi, though. We had two state senators flip that broke a supermajority. So Democrats need to strategize, not a national strategy, localized strategy on how to apply what happens. The only thing you have to remember about Tennessee, you may not win there because those people are crazy. Well, they're crazy because you put Marsha Blackburn back in the Senate.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the point. That's the point, that Tennessee is a very red state. Where the election was, it was a very red district. No Democratic candidate had any chance to show up there, and in this particular case, it did. As much as it didn't give a seat to a Democrat, a couple of things to consider. It does set a a trend, or at least the perception of a trend. And whether we believe it or not, you better bet that the Republicans are getting a little hinky about this thing, because there are probably 50 or 60 other places
Right.
that are closer than 22%. There are probably a
Right.
couple dozen that are between 0 and 4% where they won. And if they notice a trend with Republican voters of that big a swing, it could have devastating effects on those people with the
And
lower margins. And secondly, the important thing to know about that Tennessee election, is only for 1 year,
less than a year.
less than a year.
Less
So
than a year.
so that person, uh, I would suspect that Afton Bain is going to run again in next November. She lost by 9 points, but you can bet conditions in the country and in Tennessee
Oh
are going to
yes.
get worse.
Yeah, when the shit hits the fan, the economy, and I thought, like I said, like old soul made a good point. They have to suffer, and then they're going to turn around and go, "What the hell happened?" But there's something that's also our duty as Democratic voters or left-leaning voters, and independents. If you say you're independent, fuck you. Get on a side. Get off the fence. Okay. Get your ass up out of the fence and make a choice, good or evil. It's simple as that. If I hear one more independent bullshit about politics, fuck you. It's not that anymore. There is no politics. It's right and wrong. Democracy, fascism. Get off the fence.
Yeah.
But did you now we have an opportunity to fix something that came to light very brightly. And this is my apology to every Bernie bro. Okay.
Okay.
Hillary Clinton showed up at at some kind of meeting in New York run by Marianne Alleman, who is a huge Zionist. $100 million to build the American Center in Jerusalem. Trump gave her
Yeah.
a freedom, President Medal of Freedom. She is APAC plus.
Yeah.
And Hillary Clinton did a speech. There was a keynote speaker there and stated that what we're seeing in Palestine and what the Israeli government is doing is all fake AI created by TikTok. And young people don't understand it. That's why they protest. And I saw that. And I said, oh, we fucked up. We royally fucked up. And the
Yeah.
Democrats did do Bernie bad. And I'm sitting there listening to that. I'm going, oh, okay. So breaking bread with the enemy is one thing. Watching that disappointed me and pissed me off. Again, this is not about anti Semitism. It's not about the Jewish religion. This is about an Israeli government has become that which their ancestors fled from. They are committing the same acts of genocide, the IDF, Netanyahu, that the Nazis did to your families and Greek families, your 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 parents and your grandparents. That is a fact. That is a truth, and it has nothing to do with religion. But for you to come in there and then the meeting was about how they're going to stop Zoran Mandami's anti-Semitism. What the fuck are you talking about? That man is straight up saying, I don't know, everyone's welcome. And it was an example of, hey, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, all you motherfuckers and APAC money, we are going to find it and we're going to get rid of this. Because until we get rid of these so-called centrist Democrats, fuck you, you're just MAGA light. And corporate Democrats, fuck you, you're taking money from both sides.
Right.
We still won't win. If we're going to clean house, that's what we have to do. And we have to hold up now Hillary Clinton as an example of what they really think of us. And it's time to really go down the populist a rabbit hole. It's simple. All right. Now, we can't do what they did the last time and go, well, it's not my candidate. I'm not going to vote Democratic. We can't do that. Okay. Because then we see the other opposite. But it's time to get up on these people's asses and go, had it. You think we're stupid. And to watch her do that was fucking disappointing. The only thing I kept thinking, God, I hope Bill's name's on Epstein files.
But,
God, I hope so.
Whenever you're in a fight like this, you've got to take it a step at a time. You've got to clean up as much as you can, settle down, and then clean up some more. In terms of what we have with the Republicans, that's a dumpster fire. We got to put that motherfucker out. After that, assuming the Republicans are out of the way and the Democrats are there, we still have a lot of little fires around. Then we can focus on them. We can't take down the Republicans and straighten out the Democrats at the same time. We got to get rid of the big mess and then not give up and not let up and still go after the mess that we have in the Democratic Party. I don't belong to a Democratic Party, but I'm fighting for the Democrats at this point because that's the best choice.
But
is it a perfect choice? No, it's not a perfect choice,
it's not.
but it's the best choice to get me to the next step so I can hopefully make it better.
And the thing about what we can do too is that we don't have to get rid of all of them. We can get rid of a lot of them.
Yeah.
And force the leadership to change. We can do that. And the thing about it too, we have to make sure that the Democratic National Committee doesn't dumbass this and give up on any race. Every fucking race is important, from dog catcher to governor to senator to congressman. Everyone's important because we found out that Republicans were right. Local makes a big difference. That's how they set these draconian bullshit laws. The crazy people are in charge. And that's why what you have to keep in mind is that the word's going to come from the Democratic corporate Democrats that we don't want progressives. No, we can't. You can't do that. We'll lose. Fuck you. No, you will win, or you'll give them a fight to the bitter end. Right. And well, what are you going to do? We're going to piss off our donors. Fuck the donors. There's more of us than them, even if they have more money. That's the mentality we all have to have, because that's the only way we're going to win this fight. Going back to the Tennessee thing, the reason that I was pissy about is that do not accept the loss and go, oh, that's what we did. No, fucking call it for what it is. We lost, and another MAGA chud is in Congress to support Mike Johnson, who couldn't fucking wait to swear him in. Oh, yeah, couldn't wait to do that. Right, Mikey? Made plenty of room. Speaking of it, and that brings us to the Republican Party. That motherfucker is cracking.
Mike, yeah.
It is cracking. And let's be clear. People are talking about, I think you brought up the Signalgate. No one did anything about Signalgate. That was a violation that would have gotten any other Secretary of Defense removed in a moment. Not even impeachment. The president went and said, I want your resignation on my desk today.
Right.
Okay. But no one did anything. No one said anything because the Republican Party at that time, earlier, were just still cowering for Trump. They're not cowering anymore. The reason Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump are running around with their hair on fire is because when all this came down with the murders of the men, those fishermen, because it is murder. There are no drugs on those boats. Don't let them sell you that. Megyn Kelly can go fuck herself. And all those old people, senators saying that, no, if you were going to do that, there are other ways of doing that without bombing them indiscriminately. Murdering those survivors is a war crime. Okay.
Absolutely.
And they would have gotten away with it as soon, but not only Democrats call for an investigation, Republicans call for investigations. Chairmen of the Armed Services Committee in both houses call for an investigation. That means there are people in Congress, Republicans, are ready to take Pete Hegseth out and hang him out to dry, because Mike Johnson ruined Congress because he turned them into puppets. And he forgot each one of those little people have egos. And they've been getting shit for the constituents about what are you going to do for me? Why do you keep doing for Trump? And Johnson expects the same thing. That's why even that psycho Nancy Mace is turning on him. And when that psychopath starts turning on you, that's not good. Elise Stefanik, why is she turning on Mike Johnson? Well, because Trump done fucked her. How? Her entire base to run for governor of New York was Zoran Mondami, the communist, the Muslim terrorist. And what did Trump do? Made nicey nice. That's my new best friend.
Yeah. He fucked her over before too, because
you win.
He was going to make her the representative to the UN, and then after the fact, somebody said, "Hey, that'll cost us a seat. That's probably not a good idea." And they said, "No, you're not going to be the." So she's pissed off on a number of
and who did they put
levels.
Who did they put in? The
guy that
national
called
security
Singlegate.
Guy who they dropped, who they basically made fall in the store of a Singlegate, and then he got up there and got laughed at by the entire world. And that pissed her off even more because they replaced you with an incompetent man. So Elise Stefanik, before she drank the Kool-Aid, was understood as a middle of the road Republican competent.
But you have to understand, this is so typical of narcissists.
Right.
Narcissists from a distance, they look good, but once you get close to them, they will always fuck you over. This is why they don't have any close friends. This is why nobody trusts them, because they will always fuck the closest people over that are closest to them. And when people see up close how fucked up and stupid they are, they bolt. They just bolt. And this is what Nancy Mace and probably a lot of others who are now voting against Donald Trump finally see what the truth is.
I mean, when the biggest Kool-Aid drinker, Marjorie Taylor Greene, turned, a lot of people started to look and see why. And we may call an opportunist. I get it. I mean, because that's the way she is. It's not going to help her in Georgia. But something happened that caused her to do that. And it's not just the opportunity. Now, Elise Stefanik, governor race is done. So what's she going to do? She's going after Mike Johnson. Watch, when we get into the new year, she's going to force a vote for the speakership, and she's going to go after that motherfucker. Because that's all she's got left. And revenge is a dish best served cold. Because if she becomes Speaker of the House, she's not going to be a Trump lover. She's going to fight him every inch of the way, like a speaker should for representing Congress. So they have an equal thing of power. Mike Johnson thought everyone was going to be, okay, Trump, do everything Trump says. You all ran on that. You're finding out your constituents are going, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to hear about Trump. What have you done for me lately? And that's what's blowing up in their face. And that's where we're seeing the cracks. And that's why they can go after Pete Hegseth now than they couldn't before. Because Republicans are doing it.
When they interviewed the Admiral Bradley, about this situation, I was a little surprised that he took it all upon himself. Pete Hegseth didn't tell me what to do. I took it all upon myself. Regardless of who you're trying to protect, it is still illegal. It is still criminal what they did. Now, he said something else, too, that just came out today. I don't know if you heard this. We're bombing these boats because they're carrying drugs and bringing them to America. So we're to believe that a 20-foot fucking rowboat is going to make it from South America to the United States. Well, the Admiral said in this case, in that particular boat where they killed the survivors, it was destined for Suriname. And he said, well, it's going to Suriname. It's probably dropping off drugs there that then will come to America. Yeah, that's a stretch, motherfucker. I'm sure they don't have better pathways into the United States than a rowboat to another boat to another boat.
I wonder who they could ask about that. Oh, yeah, the DEA. Oh, no, they stripped that. Oh, FBI agents. Oh, no, they can't because they're too busy driving Cash Patel's drunk girlfriends around and her girlfriend around the city. They knew where the routes were, and Venezuela is not one of the routes. Venezuela is not a drug capital. Okay. And they're talking about fentanyl. Fentanyl doesn't come from Venezuela.
Comes from Mexico.
Comes from Mexico. and it comes through, we know, China. Let's be factual here. But facts don't mean anything in a good story or fake story is what they're doing. But here's the kicker though. Yeah, Bradley fell on his sword. I don't know why. I don't think how's he do you think Trump's gonna save you? He's not. Chain of command, motherfucker. Everyone illegal order, everyone to the person that pulled the triggers are going down. Okay.
Yeah.
2, before this happened, the original commander of the South Command, a man named Halsey, okay,
Halsey.
Halsey, black general, reported when they got the original orders to do what they were going to do, he got a meeting with Pete Hegseth, and he sat down with him and goes, "Look, this is not good. This could cause us problems legally because we need to know what you're doing. We cannot indiscriminately do what you want." And Hegseth turned on him and said, reminded him of his sworn duty.
You're either on the team or you're out of here. That's basically
and
what he said.
Halsey looked at him and said, "I've been here 40 years as a member of the military, as a Navy officer. I've never taken a legal order, and I'm not taking one now." And he resigned his commission and left the Navy. And then they appointed Bradley. Now, if Bradley's doing this because he got his rank, he got his flag that way, he's a dumbass. But Halsey is supposed to meet with the Armed Services Committee, and he's bringing receipts.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to left. I don't think he's going to cave.
No, he's out of the military. He's got nothing to lose, and he's going to call him out for what it was. They were planning to do illegal orders. Why did all of a sudden? And here's the thing: Pete Hegseth is hated in the Pentagon as much as Kash Patel is hated at the FBI offices.
Right.
All right, he's hated, and all of a sudden, right after the 6 senators made that statement about illegal orders, and everyone freaked out on the far right because they're dumbasses, and whatever Trump says, God, there is God. That's their God. The Washington Post comes out with a story with 7 sources saying that Pete Hegseth gave that illegal order to whatever they call double tap. That's bullshit. It's murder. To murder those survivors. And where did that come from? Oh, let me think. The Pentagon. They leaked that not only to, I know they leaked it to the senators, but don't say anything about the story. The story came out to back them up. No one's saying anything about what Mark Kelly and the rest of them said now, are they? Not buying it.
That's a question. The New York Times reported he said kill them all, and he gave the order. Now, the New York Times had to have gotten that from somewhere, like you say, the Pentagon. What happens if now the New York Times tries to save some integrity here and release the information that they got and what they reported on?
You got to protect sources. That's a journalistic standard and ethics. They have confirmed sources, but not going to out a source. So they have confirmed it, but they can't out the source.
Can they out the information without it?
Well, the information's there. It's in the story.
Yeah.
The story is the information. The source is in the Pentagon. We'll give you a source. Nope, can't do it. That's not what we do. I mean, that's standard with when you're doing good journalism. But that tells you that the leaks continue. And that's why that man is desperate. You could see it. He's desperate. Trump is desperate for this because they want it to go away. And that's why, 2 weeks ago, we're about the verge of invading Venezuela. Now we're not. You notice how quickly that stopped? I mean, and someone brought up on a story that a lot of the people are saying, hey, you don't want this. You want this to be your Vietnam? Oh, you use those 2 words?
Yeah.
And people go, not even Afghanistan. Okay. You use the words Vietnam, and all people see in their head is the failure. And that's something that's on. And Republicans have been saying to the White House, you do this, and we're not supporting you. Because you're going to send people in there. Because I saw a New York Times article came on saying, if Maduro, he wants to replace Maduro, these who could replace him. I didn't even read that because that's dumb shit. Because if you do that, you replace him, that means we have to support him. Been there, done that, doesn't work real well.
Yeah.
Americans die like that. That's not, all of a sudden it's gone. It's vanished. It
Well,
really has.
don't you think when this all happened with the double tap and all this hubbub around it, up to that point, obviously we've been seeing the military cave to Donald Trump, the brass, and then down the line to the rank and file. Once this came out, don't you think everybody's going to be a little more cautious with
Oh, yes.
with taking unlawful orders? You know, before they would have said, "Well, we just got to do it. Donald Trump said it." Now they're going to say, "Wait a minute. I don't want to be Admiral Bradley. I don't want to be SEAL Team 6 who is culpable for this fucking crime. Those people who carried it out because they accepted an unlawful order. If this goes to trial, if this involves uh, uh, any
It's
kind
a
of
court martial.
punishment, they're or court martial, they're going to get it too."
Yeah. I mean, this is the beginning of that. And again, this shows a crack because Democrats couldn't move this. This would have been if all Republicans stood like they did after Singlegate. No one. It would be Democrats literally just pissing in the wind. But as soon as Republicans turned on it, then all of a sudden, this is the power of Congress. People have forgotten that. That's why Mike Johnson's been pressing down on the Congress, because if they do this, they have the power as an equal branch of government to call the executive branch to heel. And
Right.
they're doing it in a little way here. Now, are they still being stupid? Yes. They're not going to deal with the ACA. They want it to die because of Obamacare and everything that Old Soul said about that. Go listen to that because that is true. And it's going to be a nightmare, beyond a nightmare and a half. And then they still are trying to use culture wars for the midterms. Some asshole put in a bill to get rid of joint citizenship, choose U.S. or don't.
Yeah.
And then you have the Supreme Court now hearing birthright citizenship. Do they have any idea what a disaster that would be? What
Yeah.
that would
No, I
do to
don't
this
know that they
country?
care.
Well, okay, sure. Then you're going to put millions of people at risk with these people? Do they not think that's going to be a blowback on that?
You would
I
think so.
mean, because everyone came from somewhere else. Period. End discussion. But they can't. This is Stephen Miller's wet dream to get rid of everyone. What are you going to do with them? Execute them?
Yeah.
You can't deport everyone to a country they never seen or existed with. Or you got to keep. And hear how crazy this gets. Okay, there was a black creator. I ran across his TikTok, and we're talking about birthright citizenship. And his thing is not our fight. Okay, it's the same bullshit I've heard before. Now, to an
Yeah.
extent, black creators are correct. If they go on protest, they will elevate it. I get it. But this guy is talking like if black people get out there, they're going to do like they did George Floyd, and everything will go up in flames, and they will burn everything down and blame us. And I'm
Yeah.
going, all right, guy, yeah, okay, that's a little bit much. I don't think so. And then he goes here. He goes, then they'll arrest us and put us in the detention camps with the rest of them. And then under the 13th Amendment, they'll make us all slaves again. And I'm looking at this going, that was the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. But that's
Yeah.
how crazy it is. Because the 13th, you can't. No, it can't. And the Supreme Court, even hearing this, violates the Constitution because because they're trying to change the Constitution in executive order. For them saying to literally hear that argument is saying that the president can change the Constitution with a stroke of a pen. If it's not the 14th Amendment, it could be, oh, I don't know. I don't like the Fifth Amendment or the Fourth Amendment. Fuck that probable cause. Yeah, I'm going to take that out. All people are guilty until proven innocent. There we go. Signed DJT. That's what you're setting yourself up for, people. And at that point, people ain't going to deal with that really well. I mean, that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with so many outside forces, as you said the other night. It's just not, I mean, like I thought also made a good point. Other countries, why don't you get rid of them? Because there's so many other layers in here. That's hard part. We turn to the courts to do that and Congress to do that, but they have failed us. They're part of the problem.
When they overturned Roe v. Wade, I said, whether you support abortions or not, this should be a terrifying moment. The moment your government takes away a constitutional right, they'll do it again and again and again. And here the fuck we are.
I mean, and that's where that's not good. Now, before everyone goes running in panic, it's going to be a while before they do it. If they do it, I'm telling you, it's going to, then at that point, all bets are off because people then will defend themselves. Because again, remember, these guys think that people are just going to go willingly. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, there are a lot of guns in this country, more guns than there are people. And you dumbasses keep thinking, yeah, well, we're just going to get them lit. They're not going to. No, I'm your Huckleberry. People are not going to go quietly. Yeah, I saw that dumbass in Alabama. Yeah, we'll take a building. Motherfucker, come here. See what happens. You don't get it. I mean, that's the thing. They literally think they can frighten us into giving up. But I've been seeing in their own ways, ICE doesn't like what's going on because people are pushing back. And one of these guys are literally going to do something that's going to cause an incident. And that's where it's come to a head. So this, again, is a reaction of a dying regime. Only took them 10 months, but they did a good job of it.
Well, that's my point. We keep hearing these things that they might do or could do, but we have to factor in something else. We have to factor in that the Republican Party is losing steam. They're losing power. They're losing unity. So as much as they may want to do those things, it's going to be that much harder. They're dumb in the first place, so they don't get much accomplished. The fact that they're weaker now is going to make it almost impossible for them to accomplish the things they want to, down the road with regards to Project 2025. That may be a saving grace that they don't have the power or the competency to do this. But that's no reason not to try to stop them.
And the economy falling apart is something that they think will make Americans give up. No, it's populations historically, when you put them in behind the eight ball economically, like, oh, I can't get anything to eat.
Yeah.
They don't just sit there and go, yeah, give me another. No, they stand up. And you don't want I don't know who's running this thing thinking that if we do all these things, they'll give us what I want. They'll give us their capitulation. I saw someone talking about a video saying that, are they doing this because Americans are sheeple? Yeah, okay. Maybe 30% of us are. The rest of us are a little pissed and angry and not going to put up with. Those people with whistles are going after ICE or yelling at them. Come on. You think that's sheeple behavior? They haven't gone violent. They haven't. And again, remember, ICE doesn't go into the tough targets. They haven't done that. They don't want to do that. But the point is, they're thinking their approximation of Americans as weak is not going to work. The average American is not weak. Just because the oligarch holds your paycheck doesn't make you a weak person for having taken his money.
I think the Republicans are now recognizing that they had all these plans with Project 2025 and the shock and awe and the fear and all this stuff. I think they're finally coming to realize that there were some miscalculations because none of it's really working.
Nope.
It's causing a mess. It's causing problems. I'm not going to say that's not happening. But even Project 2025 is a little shaken at this point because everything's moving too fast. And that's not, when you make a change like this to fascism, you don't do it fast unless you're ready to go to war on the streets.
Right.
You do it bit by bit, inch by inch. And Donald Trump is just not that kind of guy. He wants everything. He wants it now, and he'll fuck up in the process. And that's what he's doing. And the people around him are going, holy fuck, this has fallen
And
apart because Donald Trump fucked it up again.
and one thing, if we're going to comparison to other fascist states in Germany, they never ever disrespected symbols of the nation.
Yeah.
They didn't. They enhanced the symbols of the nation. And what do I mean? Hitler would not have torn down the East Wing. He would have turned it into an unbelievable celebration of National Socialism, but he never would have torn it down. He would have taken that history and perverted it for his own use. That's what he did. Okay. I mean, yeah, they would lose the pictures of Obama, but they would put up pictures of George Washington and Jefferson, and they would enhance that. They wouldn't be doing that. And that's the one saving grace, is that Donald Trump's ego, it gets in the way of people who want a Christo-fascist government, because Trump tearing down the East Wing and now fighting with an architect and firing that architect for a ballroom doesn't even the Project 2025 people are going, fuck, we don't need
Well,
this distraction.
and that's the point where Donald Trump always fails. He's got these big, grandiose dreams of this ballroom, and I said I'll be surprised if it ever gets built because, as you said, he had a problem with the original architect. Now he's trying to hire another one. What do you think the problem is with the first architect? First, he's probably not getting paid. Second of all, Donald Trump is demanding him to do things that he knows are impossible. And this goes back, this is precedented. When everybody talks about Donald Trump bankrupting a casino, they think, well, he fucked up the slot machines or the gambling. He didn't know what he was doing. That's not what happened. He built this casino with the intention of making it the biggest possible, most grandiose thing ever. And the people around him said, you can't do this because you can only expect this much income per day with gambling. And you're not going to be able to crack your nut here. You're not going to be able to pay for the building of this place. And he said, no, I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. So to operate the place, the building costs, the renovation cost, it was too much, and that's why it went bankrupt. I mean,
because you can't.
He overshot his abilities, and that's what he's doing with the ballroom too.
Yeah, because all the hotel stuff around is the adherent to the gambling, so people come gamble. And that's who he is, because he wanted himself to be the biggest, baddest. And when he ever is the biggest, baddest, we all look at him going, God, you're ugly. God, that's just ridiculous.
And it just goes back to him having to be this grandiose guy because he's so deeply insecure. He knows he's a fuck up. He knows he's a loser. He's trying to gaslight people into believing he's this great guy. And when people start deciding that he's not a great guy, that's when he loses his shit.
And if you want parallels again, remember, the Olympics were in Berlin, okay? In, was it 36, 32 or 36? 36.
36.
36. And they turned that into a spectacle showing National Socialism, the Aryan race, and all that.
Right.
That was a spectacle. They didn't start arresting people. They didn't try to make their lives miserable. They showed them, this is how we do it here in Germany under our government and the man. What are they going to do with, now look at here, we have the premier, like we talked about earlier, a sporting event in the United States, and instead of promoting it and using it to foment the MAGA and 2025 and all that, you're going to use it to make America look bad, and that's not going to work for you. You cannot do that. Again, his incompetence, his hate of everyone, and they're just don't know what they're doing, is going to cost them. That's the
It
best
goes
thing we
back
could
to what
say.
I've
They're
always
just
said.
idiots.
That's what I've always said. I'll continue to say, and I'm proved right every day. No matter
Mhm.
what Donald Trump does, in the end, he will fuck it up.
Yes.
He's always done it, and he will continue to do it. I mean, most of the problems he has right now because he can't shut his fucking mouth. He
Right.
refuses to shut his mouth. And when it comes to FIFA coming to Seattle or wherever, he's going to fuck it up. He's going to
Yes.
be embarrassment to the world with the largest spectacle in the world, sports wise. And he's going to fuck it up. Something bad is going to happen there. And people are going to be pissed off about it worldwide.
Look what he did with that small tournament we had in the United States. He got involved in it.
Yeah.
He stole shit from it. And the entire world goes, even like the team Chelsea is like going, the fuck is this? I mean, that's what it is. He thinks he's bigger than what's going on. Like when he showed up at the I'm pissed at him because I shut off my red zone because I'm watching red zone one day and he shows up at a Commanders game and tries to make a speech and everyone's like, no, of course they cut that out. But why did he do it? Because he wants the stadium to be named after him.
He needs the attention.
I mean, I'm like
He is
going,
desperate for attention.
what the hell? And that's what he does, and that's what he's going to do with the World Cup, and it's not going to help him. Now, the other things that he's fucking up is that, let's face it, if he lives another 6 months, I'll be surprised. And I'm going to see everyone, okay, yeah, right, the far left wanting him to die. Okay, I'll buy that. Okay, yeah, all right. But the point is, you can see it, and when he's so upset that everyone's saying that he's sleeping on the job. Well, because you are. Well,
As
what
you
about Joe
are.
Biden? Joe Biden never showed up at a cabinet meeting. One, they never had a cabinet meeting televised. So it's a
Right.
circle jerk, and all these guys telling how much they love you, which is gross and uncomfortable. And Marco Rubio, I don't know how you can live with yourself. And they all do that. But even when Marco Rubio is basically giving him a hand job verbally, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am not old soul, sorry. A hand job verbally, he falls asleep.
Yeah.
He's asleep. And you cannot, and he's saying, well, Joe Biden's sleeping. Yeah, if you're on the beach on vacation in the middle of the sun, laid out, yeah, I'm going to take a nap because that's okay. But if you're in the middle of a cabinet meeting or making a decision and you have the camera on them because everyone can show you how tough you are and you pass out, that's a problem. And everyone can call you out on it. And you getting upset of it isn't going to change that there is something wrong with you. And MRIs are not done to prove how great you are. They're done to see if there's a problem. And when you
And
do them a couple of times, there really is a problem they have to
and the,
identify.
the thing about it is you notice too the idea of Donald Trump falling asleep in different situations. It seems to be getting worse. You know, it might be once
Yes.
here, maybe once there. Now it's every time. Now it's multiple times in an event. It's getting worse, and as it gets worse, it's not going to get better. It's going to continue to get worse. So it's untenable. They won't be able to bring him out in public because he'll keep falling asleep.
It, there's something, and the dementia's there. He's slurring. We could see all this. But unfortunately, he still got the command of the reins of everything.
Yeah.
Occasionally, he has lucid points, and they're going to do as much damage as they can before they leave. I mean, that's the thing we're going to have to deal with. Um, there's going to be a lot of suffering for people to turn on him totally. And there's going to be people who will suffer and go, thank you, my Lord, can I have another?
Yeah.
Which is sad and sick, but you know that's a fact. But the Republican Party has been the key of this, and they're starting to break. And that's one thing I'm here for. To watch Mike Johnson just roll. He is screwed. And
Well,
he's the
you know,
first one to go.
when I've said before, when this is all over and Donald Trump is dead or whatever, um, there's still going to be people, and everything is exposed. I'm convinced that what's going to be exposed after Donald Trump is gone will be a mess like we've never seen before. People are going to want other people to be accountable, and it will be all those people that stood by him for all these years.
Oh
Even
yeah,
if you walked away from him in the last minute, uh, anybody who runs against you in elections should say, but you were a Trump fan. You stood with Trump until the winter of 2025.
right.
And that's not, and by that time, Donald Trump will be a pariah and everything around him will be an absolute mess. And it's not going to play well for these fucking people. These people are going to suffer. They think they're gaining something now, but they should be smarter than that. They are not gaining, they are losing every day.
Yeah, the birds are coming home to roost, and the idiocy isn't going to save them. I mean, look, Robert F. K. Jr. having your minions say that babies shouldn't have hepatitis B vaccines is not going to what? You accomplish what? Nothing. But people like you, Christy Nome, Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Cash Patel, there is going to be a reckoning you guys do not expect. Because I think the next generation that comes up, we're not going to use the Justice Department. Fuck the Justice Department. That failed us. We're going to
Yeah.
set something up that you're not going to like. You're not. All you ICE agents, warning, we know who you are. I mean, if you're 460 pounds, it's kind of hard to miss you. But the point
Yeah.
being is there's going to be a reckoning. And these guys think that they're immune or they're going to be saved. Stephen Miller. Hey, Stevie, we remember you and your wife are going to go to jail together.
You're the first
And
one we're coming after.
yeah, we're the first one because you are the architect of all this. But you know what? You're not smart. No, you're not smart. You're not smart. The Nazi propagandists were smart.
Yeah.
Again, his name runs the movie that's coming out in Nuremberg.
Goring.
Goring, yeah, Herman Goring is brilliant.
It was.
Joseph
I saw the
Goebbels was
movie.
smart.
I saw
Yeah,
the movie. It was terrifying
yeah,
and
they're
very,
smart. They
very
knew what to
reminiscent
do.
of what's going on here.
They knew how to manipulate their hate. You just hate, and
Yeah.
people know that, and you got enough people buying into it. But that's not going to work. And again, for everyone that's listening to this, what do we say? I was telling you, it's just hang on to your butts because the roller coaster, which was going up for them, is coming down. We're all down for the ride. Now, hopefully, the brakes work and the track isn't off kilter at the end. But we're on for a ride because they're going to have to deal with some governing shit soon. They're trying to cover it up with performance and yelling and screaming and arresting anyone who's brown or black. But eventually, it's all going to come around. You cannot hide this shit. You cannot tell people everything's okay and then everything falls apart. Doesn't work like that, brothers. It doesn't. Eventually, you have to pay the piper. And I'm looking forward to it because there's going to be a lot of people escaping to places with no extradition soon.
Yeah.
And
Well, do you
taking our
think
money.
we keep hearing about mass, well, maybe not mass, but a lot of resignations from the Republican Party in Congress. Now, that Tennessee thing, as much as the Democrats didn't win, it is certainly a red flag to those Republicans after that Tuesday when they got completely wiped out. These people have to be very nervous about the 2026 election. You talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Right.
You're absolutely right. She's not running again because she knows she's going to get beat.
No.
She knows she's going to get beat. All these people that are resigning now, they're not going to get rid of that cake job. They just don't want to be embarrassed by getting beat.
And the other things are coming out too, like Letitia James. Hey, that grand jury went well.
Yeah.
I said, oh, hell no. And here's how stupid they are. The court said that Halligan is not a legal attorney. And they keep putting her out there. Same thing for Alina Habba. They have not gone through the system. They have not been approved by Congress. You cannot do this. They keep doing it.
Just so people understand this, Donald Trump wanted to produce or go to trial and prosecute James Comey and Letitia James. They make the complaint that Halligan was put in her job illegally. The judge said, yeah, I dismiss this case and dismiss this case. So then they decide, well, we're going to still try to prosecute Letitia James on the same basis that we just got kicked out of court for, and
Right.
using Halligan, who is proven to be illegally in her spot. They go
And
after
lied to the
Letitia
court.
James. Well, yeah, lied to the court, but they go after Letitia James again, and they can't even get it through the grand jury. You know, remember grand jury where you can
Convict a
indict a
ham
fucking
sandwich.
yeah. Well, apparently not Letitia James. You can't
Nope.
get even in the door because you're so stupid.
Well, I know she's laughing her ass off on that.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. That's another thing. Incompetence is not going to work. And that's to our advantage. Now, we can't fuck this up with not taking advantage of it or thinking that everything's okay. No, we have to stay on top of it. Infighting about protesting. Hey, you know what? Some can go on the street, some can't. Stop that shit. Okay.
yeah,
Upset about ICE. Hey, I get it if you want to be out there. I understand that. But if you got to have some sympathy for them, even the Somalians and the Muslims who probably brought this to their own bed, and considering that a good amount of Latinos voted for it, and I see Latino ICE agents, which makes me sick,
yeah.
doesn't mean that it's good for what they've done. The point is, we're lucky that these guys are dumbasses. We really are. And we're lucky that the country is big enough that they can't do what they really want to do. So I will tell you this. Those of you who are fearmonger that Trump is going to take over everything and the military is going to kill us all, stop it. We know that's not going to happen. Those of you who think there will be no elections, stop it. There will be elections, one way or the other. If the Supreme Court takes away nationalized citizenship, that's going to blow up in their faces regardless, because they don't have enough people to deport everyone they want, and people will fight.
Yeah.
As for the gerrymandering, I saw another video. Horrible. They're letting Texas do it. Who gives a fuck? They still have to do the voting. And that means California stands. So I don't want you to fearmonger. I want you guys to get pissed off and angry at the actions of these lawless, cruel, immoral human beings. Because that's who they are. Don't fear them. Get mad at them and fight them any way you can.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, the gerrymandering thing, everybody's so fearful of the gerrymandering thing. And we've talked about this, that it may work in the opposite
direction
way than what the Republicans want it to do. And a perfect example is Tennessee in that district. That's heavily gerrymandered. A place where Donald Trump won by 22 points, but the representative could only win by 8.5 points. That's due to gerrymandering. As well as trying to make blue areas more red, you're making red areas less red.
Right.
So you got only so many votes, and you can only spread them out so many ways. And yes, there is some advantages to gerrymandering, but there are some problems too, and they're not even thinking of that.
And the thing about the response to California and other states, it's less about the gerrymander, basically saying, you know what? We're not going to let you get away with this. We're going to do it ourselves. Well, you can't. Yeah, you shouldn't do it either, but we're going to do it anyway just to fuck with you. Honestly, let's be honest. The reason they're upset about what they did in California is that, well, normally you guys don't do anything like that, and you don't like that. Yeah, not anymore. Okay. There's a creator, someone who follows Intolerant Left. Fuck yes. I've had it with you people.
Yeah.
I don't interact with you, MAGA. I block you anymore because you're not worth my time. If you're a creator talking to MAGA on a live because you want the money, you're worthless.
Well, if you want the money, don't do it on TikTok because they ain't paying shit to anybody anymore.
Exactly. But even that, you're not putting your time where it can be, which is speaking out against the atrocities that these dumbasses are doing. You're not doing that. You're just trying. You're as bad as the people that you're trying to pull out in the open. No, everyone should. You know what? MAGA should have a safe space. I'm not going to go to your side of TikTok or social media. Go play with yourselves. Same thing with us. But the problem is your safe space is starting to collapse.
Yeah.
Ours is growing because people outside of those safe spaces see, yeah, these guys are crazy. And they're doing things that are affecting me now. And that's the thing. It's time to go from, oh, I'm afraid he's going to do something, to, if he does something, we're going to do something about it. That's a difference. And
Well,
I'm
yeah, I
tired of
mean,
this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, it's just a common thing with bullies. If you have a bully, there's two options: give in to that bully, and then it keeps getting worse, or kick them in the nuts. One of the two. So now's the time for people to start kicking Republicans in the nuts. Push back. They aren't as tough as they act, and they are going to react
And they're
terrified when
silly.
somebody pushes back.
And the thing about it is that what they hate more than anything is the laughter and the making fun. Anyone that saw that last South Park episode with Pete Hesgeth, the thing about it and watching it, I'm thinking, no, it's more of a documentary than a parody.
Yeah.
Because that really is his personality. Now, Kirsty Newham shooting another dog was hilarious. And I like that they're fighting over their content, right? I mean, you're honing in on my territory type of thing. But watching him run around and talk like he did, I'm going, he does talk like that. He does think like that. He does act like that. And that's sad because
Surprise.
go ahead.
I'm surprised you haven't brought this Christine Nome thing up. I don't know if you heard her in the press conference. Um,
With Cash
the
Patel and
hurricanes,
Dan Bongino.
no, the hurricane season in this country
Oh,
was
the cabinet
unusual
meeting.
because there were no hurricanes that made landfall in America, which happens from time to time, and it's because of the winds, it's because of the weather, and all those sorts of things. And
Because
Christine
we have
Nome,
an El Nino running, which pushes the currents the other way.
right?
That's a true fact.
So Christine Nome sat there and was either too stupid or too ridiculous and said, "Thank you, Donald Trump, for keeping all the hurricanes away." For fuck's sake, it
They're
cannot.
they're going out of the way to kiss his ass bigger than the next guy
But it's
because they
silly
think
now.
it's silly, and we all look at him going. And again, that's a cult.
Yeah.
That's a cult, and that's what happens when you have a cult of personality, and your personality guy is Donald Trump. I mean,
Right.
he had pictures of him at Studio 54 in the what 80s,
Yeah.
dude. That
70s, 80s.
yeah. Let me be clear. That tells you you're old and desperate when you start talking about the younger days like that.
Yeah.
Okay, like that's now, dude. No, oh, you're finished. I mean, that's a studio. Okay, so basically, you're admitting to the drug use and the abuse of women. Come on. I mean, we know what New
Well,
York was like then. Give me a
yeah,
break.
I was a teenager. I watched all the things about Studio 54, and didn't that get shut down because of a lot of drugs?
A few, yes.
Maybe some tax evasion.
Um,
Right up Donald
and
Trump's alley.
yeah, I mean, and it's just, but that's what we're dealing with. But again, they're going to do a lot of harm, and they are doing a lot of harm. But I think that's their undoing because they're trying to outdo each other, and people are finally tired of it. They're tired of it. I mean, and we're going to see that every day. And the Republican Party is starting to find out that they're tired of it, but it's too late.
Yeah.
It's too late. And you're going to pay the price finally. I thought they were going to pay the price a year ago, but they're not. Well, they're going to pay the price coming up
Well, and that's
because
and that's the thing it is with narcissists. The bad news is over the next few months, it's going to get incredibly bad, incredibly
yes,
messy, but it's also the signal that the end is near, the crash is coming. This is what they do when they got no place to turn and they don't know what to do. They just do everything, they do anything. They get outlandish with the stuff they do and say, and it's going to get ugly for a while. And as I've said before, I'm going to keep saying this because people have to understand this. When this is all said and done, people are going to say, well, they're saying it now. Why can't we do something? Why can't something be done? And the fact of the matter is there's only one group that could have done anything, could have stopped this years ago, and that is the Republicans in Congress. So when this is over and Donald Trump isn't viable anymore, if you want somebody to blame, it's the Republicans. Every fucking one of them. Every one of them, whether they align with Donald Trump closely or not, they were all complicit because they supported him no matter what, either out of fear, out of stupidity, or out of evil. But when it's all said and done, the problems we will have to clean up are directly responsible. The Republicans are directly responsible for it. Every fucking one of them in Congress.
And on a corollary and on a side note, Democrats had an opportunity to end him, but they chose politics over law.
Yeah.
And that's going to be factored in there because that's why we remember when this comes back around, there will be no politics, there will be law. And we will have justice. Because that was the problem with, unfortunately, with Joe Biden thinking that this was a political problem, not a problem of law. He made a mistake. We had an opportunity to end him too. And that's a mistake that history will call us out on, period.
Joe Biden, Merrick Garland, and many of the others were playing 1990s politics in the 2020s, and they fucked up. And I will say Joe Biden fucked up. I've said it before. Merrick Garland is part of the reason we are where we are today because he didn't do his job. Biden is at fault because after a year of doing nothing, he should have fired him.
Yeah. And again, we confuse politics with justice. Yeah. And that's the thing too. We're talking about and I think this is something we have to make distinction now. This is not a political question anymore. This is a morality question. This is a survival of the republic and the American people as a whole question. All right. There is no politics as usual. There is no, well, everything will be okay because it cycles. No. We're at a point that either we do or we do not. There is no try. And there's no political question. We're not talking politics, you and I, or all the other creators. No. We're talking about morality and ethics and the right thing, because the other side is not. All you got to see is an ICE raid, and that's all you need to know. Period. All you have to see is when that lady in Minnesota, when they were on her lawn, and goes, "Get off my lawn." No, I don't have to. Yes, you do. It's in the Constitution that you cannot harbor soldiers on your private property. You have to go. And the guy goes, "I'm going to arrest you for obstruction." No, you can't. And see, that's where we're at. That's where we're at right now. I don't give a fuck what the Supreme Court gave permission for. We still stand by the Constitution, and they will pay a price too. They think they're safe. Once this comes through, justice will find them also. All right. It's just that we got to ride this out. And to use a term, fortunately from the Bible, some of us may not get to the mountain and not see the other side, but we can push the rest of us through. Because I don't think we're going to go down like that. It's going to be a better situation in the end.
Well, I do too. And if you don't like the idea that we have to go through a bunch of shit to get to the better side, I would just put the blame on every Republican voter, 49% that voted for Donald Trump, and whatever percentage it is of Democrats who sat on their ass and did nothing. You're just as responsible for what happened here. I mean, a good example, we talk about Tennessee. Less than 200,000 people voted in that election.
Wow.
There are 466,000 registered voters in that district. There are Democrats that sat there with their thumbs up their ass. They could have won this. It was close enough. They could have come out and voted. They chose not to. So if you like the way Tennessee is running right now and what's happening, well, you're going to get it for at least a year. But if you don't, you better wake the fuck up and do something.
Yeah, you cannot be complacent. You can't see, well, it's not going to make a difference. Yeah, we had 4 years of difference with Biden.
Yeah.
There was a difference. You guys just don't want to buy into it. Now you see that it's gone. There is a difference. And you're going to have those assholes, and they're out there still thinking, well, everything's not going to make a difference, and they're all evil. To an extent, yeah. Saw that with the Hillary Clinton thing. But I'll tell you this, we want difference, then you have to get out and get your ass off your ass and do it. Don't sit there and whine about it. Don't sit there and go, what difference does it make? Yeah, fine. When you don't have a job and you can't eat, don't come find me. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When it comes to all those people who want us to feel bad for them because the way they voted, and people are telling me, well, we shouldn't have hold with the way they voted. Yes, we should. Until they say, I've changed my mind, I made a mistake, I'm sorry, and I'm going to vote differently for my best interests. You don't have to believe me now, but I'm going to do that. But until you do that and not look to Trump to save your ass, and that's what the farmers are still doing, or Appalachia are still doing, until you decide that he is not going to help you, screw you all. I don't want to hear about your suffering.
And anybody who says, well, I voted for him, I was wrong, I'm sorry, all I have to say to you is prove it. Because unfortunately, I can't trust you. I can't trust you at all. And even when you do prove it, I still won't trust you.
Yep.
I might give you a little leeway, but I won't trust you completely.
And again, I don't want to interact with you. Let's get this fixed. And you show me who you are. I can't deal with you anymore. But if you want to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem, I'm down with it. But I'm going to say this one more time. And I keep hearing this from a lot of the left-wing creators or left-wing people. We can't be divided. Yeah, we can. I can work with people I hate. I've done it before to get to one thing. After that, once we get there, I don't want to hear you. I don't want to talk to you. Simple as that. Until you give me a reason to. Because that's fine if we're pulling in the same direction. But if you pulled in the wrong direction and turn around that and say you're sorry, great. Pull that way, but it doesn't mean I'm your pal, your buddy. No, it's not going to work like that. Okay. We cannot sit there and go, it'll be okay. They'll all come. No, sorry. It's not going to work like that. And until you all realize that, that's fine. I'll take you as you are if you're going to work with me. After that, I don't care because you proved to me that you don't care either. But if you want to solve this so you can get out of your situation, I'm fine with it. Enemy, blah, blah, blah. But do not stop with this. We all have to hug. No, sorry. Ain't hugging this out, bitch. We have to fix this. And then we'll go from there. Simple as that.
You know, I've already been through this with my father. You know, I grew up with him. We didn't get along. As I got older, he was a horrible human being. And then we didn't talk for a while. And people would say to me, well, you can't hate your dad. What if he dies and all that stuff? I said, listen, I don't hate my dad. I won't hate Trump the fucks once this is over. But to me, you're inconsequential. You don't matter. And I don't want that vibe around my family. I didn't want my father's dark cloud hanging over my family. So I just never saw him. I didn't talk to him for 25 years.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with it. I don't feel guilty at all that he's dead now.
Mm-hmm. And so here we are. So for all these guys, because I know it's getting late and
we're about there.
And you've done 2 of these, so you're exhausted. Totally get it. To all of you guys, look, go for the ride. Understand that this is not politics as usual. We can't analyze this as politics. We have to analyze this as a fight and where we win our battles. And then after we push everything out and we get our justice, let's see what we can do about this country to kind of keep it going, if not even better. Because, like you said, I think we'll get to universal health care. I think we'll
I do
change the way
too.
we vote. I think that the support system will look like the New Deal again, even not better, or even closer to what Johnson wanted to do with his war on poverty. Because people will realize that you'll make money when the middle class is good, when the oligarchs pay their price. No one's going to no one's going to knock you for being rich. We will knock you for being greedy, and
If the middle,
that's the lesson that should be taught.
all people
So
have to understand is if the middle class is doing better, they pay more taxes and they buy more shit. That's the essence
exactly.
of a good economy. That's the essence of a good economy. Tell folks where they can find you.
Again, you can find me on Substack, Binder 38 US on Substack. I have a paid subscription. If you, I would love for you to subscribe there. And we have fun there. And then also you can find me on YouTube at Binder 38 US and YouTube. Again, TikTok still rolls, RJ12764 on TikTok. And if you ever want to reach out to me, I have an email, kumquat6@outlook.com. Appreciate you guys who have given me some words of support. What we're dealing with my wife and myself. Thank you very much. That means a lot to me, especially as I work my way through this chaos. And like I said, there will be daily updates every time there's treatment going on for her and for me, because I think it also gives people an idea of what it is to be in the system when this happens and what you
Well,
have to deal with. And it
sometimes
kind
it's
of
good
helps.
to tell people what's happening because a lot of people are going to be in that position at one point or another, and it's good to at least understand what the
Right.
process is and understand it's not an easy process, and you're going to need help and support when that
Right.
happens. So you can learn some things from Will here as he proceeds through this whole
Yeah. This
situation.
is not to exploit or anything. I just think it's something I didn't know the process. And I think if I can, as the process goes on, I share that, people will get an idea that if it runs across them, okay, you won't be surprised, or you get to know that there are other people out there. What I was really surprised was the amount of people who said, yeah, I've been there, I've done this. My mom, my sister, my cousin. And I sat there, and that really does make a difference, because when I was in that exam room on Wednesday, looking up at that ceiling with all these paintings about breast cancer survivors, I'm sitting here and going, man, we're in this shit. And it's
Uh,
just like, it is, there's, for a moment, there's a sense of isolation, and you just don't know what it is. But those words and everything that you guys told me mean a lot. Because, and what I can give back to you is this kind of with the road. So if it helps you later on, or a loved one, I have fine with it. So
absolutely.
hopefully I'll bring something to you as you brought to me through all this.
If nothing, if nothing else in doing the Rational Boomer podcast or what you do on TikTok and Substack and stuff, if we can give people some value one way or another, then we pretty much won the situation.
Exactly.
Over and above all,
Exactly.
over and above followers or what TikTok page. That's all secondary to doing other people some good. If we can do that, then it's worth it for people like Will or I or anybody else to come
Yeah.
out and talk about this shit. Those of you listening, I want to thank you for taking the time to do that. I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.